Hello. Today I am going to talk about 7 mistakes that people who make a move abroad make. And you know what? I've made a few of these myself. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Patricia Brooks. I'm an American expat living in the south of France, and I help people who are ready to start the next chapters of their lives living in a foreign country. I help them to dig down and find that grit so that they can finally start living in their dream country instead of just dreaming about it. And on this channel, I talk about my life in France, about making a move abroad, and about how you can find the confidence and courage to do those things that mean the most to you, but are sometimes scary to move forward with. And today I'm talking about 7 mistakes and missteps that people who have moved abroad have made. All right. And number 1 has to do with hyper-focusing on one area of their move to the expense of the others. So we have so many different aspects of our lives. And if we only focus on one area, say it's work, then we can have relationships that aren't working for us, or we can get burnt out because we don't have any downtime, or we can struggle financially because we haven't put a good financial plan in place. So how can you avoid hyper-focusing on one area of your life in your move abroad? Well, you can make sure that you look at all areas of your life, finances and relationships and fun time and your health and your job, your career. Look at all areas of your life and create a plan, a holistic plan for all areas of your life and what that looks like in your new country. And that will help you to eliminate or minimize the lopsidedness that you experience, the stress you might experience because you haven't paid attention to the other areas of your life. Now, another way people hyper-focus on a move abroad is by focusing only on the logistical part of their move abroad and not thinking, well, there is this mindset piece that needs to be cared for if you're going to settle in and thrive there. So what I mean by that is people will say, well, I know I need to get housing. I know I need to get the visa. I know I need to get insurance, all of those things that are administrative. And those are so important because without a visa, you're not making that move abroad. However, if you make a move abroad and you haven't thought about, oh, well, I need to start learning the language so when I get here, I'm not completely lost with the language. Or perhaps this is your first move abroad and you have never experienced the cultural differences or culture shocks. Well, maybe you can read a book about what you might experience. 2 good books for France are, well, one good book for France is The Bonjour Effect. And I read that probably 3 years into my life in France. And that illuminated so much. I'm like, oh, now I understand. And another book on cultural differences is called The Culture Map. And that is more general. But read things like that to help you prepare. And you might even want to hire a coach, somebody like me, to help you see where maybe your blind spots are and help you to build the resilience that you will need to experience the kind of life you want to experience. So hyper-focusing, whether it's on one area of your life abroad or on one part of the move abroad. Now, the second thing people do that I consider a mistake when they make a move abroad is they are running from something. They're running from a problem, and they think that by living in a foreign country, that's going to help their problem. It's going to help resolve their problem. The thing is, living in a foreign country creates so many other things you have to deal with that the problems get exacerbated. And it is not a good place to be if you haven't taken care of the things you need to take care of. One example was a woman who came to me after the fact, and she moved to a country in Europe, and she had financial problems in the past in her home country. And she was able to get out from under those and able to sell her house and have some money so that she could make this move abroad. But she hadn't worked on the underlying money blocks or money issues that created the situation that she had in the US. And so she was not able to sustain herself long term, and she really wanted to. And so she found herself having to move back. And it's sad because while she wasn't completely happy where she was, that was in large part because she was dealing with the stressful financial problems that created other problems, in terms of anxiety and stress that was unbearable and did not make for a happy life. So if you've got a problem, maybe you've got a relationship problem, maybe you've got financial problems, maybe you're still working through some mental health issues, and you haven't gotten to a place where there is a good equilibrium or balance, you probably want to take care of those things before you move to another country, because moving is stressful and moving to another country is even more stressful. Things that are simple where you are now become so much harder and take so much longer and create so much frustration. So if you're thinking about making a move abroad and you've got unresolved problems, resolve those problems first and then make your move abroad. All right. So number 3. Now this is one that I struggled with. I did not know what my rights were before I moved abroad. And even though I knew what some of the requirements were for things like the driver's license exchange, Virginia has a driver's license exchange with France, I didn't heed the timelines or the deadlines. And so this was costly for me. I did not recognize that I, as a resident of France, am eligible for healthcare. Healthcare here is a right if you are a resident. So 2 years in, I'm dating a French guy, and he's like, "Oh, you don't have a carte vitale? Well, you need to get one because you are eligible." I'm like, "No, but I'm not a citizen." He's like, "Doesn't matter. You're eligible." And so he helped me through the process. So that was something that I didn't know and could have taken advantage of sooner. With my driver's license exchange, I knew that I needed to do it in the first year, but I didn't because I was living in a city. And I wasn't thinking about doing the driver's license exchange. When I bought a car the following year, I was like, "Oh, I should have done that," because I thought, "Oh, I'm going to have to take the driving exam. I'm going to have to come out of pocket for 1,500 or 2,000 euros for driving school." Fortunately, for whatever reason, I was able to do the exchange without having to go to driving school. However, one thing that I wasn't so fortunate with was when I finally shipped my things in year 2 or year 3, I had to pay import taxes on things that have no value to anybody but myself. And that was all on me because I did not ship in the first year. And I knew that. So not knowing what the requirements are, not knowing what your rights are can cost you. So know those things. And one way you can, I know for France, you can learn more about the systems and what things you're eligible for is by reading magazines such as Connection. I'm going to put a link to that in the description. Another one is The Local. And I think The Local has magazines for other countries in Europe. I think there's one for Germany as well. So read up on those things, get the information you need so that when you come, you can take advantage of these things. So that is number 3, not knowing your rights, not knowing the requirements. Number 4 is underestimating the cultural differences. Now, early on, I was pretty good with the cultural differences. It wasn't until about 2.5 years in when I started dating a French guy longer term that created some problems in our relationship because we didn't have a basic understanding of how relationships worked. I have an understanding of how relationships work in the US. He had an understanding of how relationships work in France. And so we didn't communicate well enough to be able to not have that be an issue for us. And so I underestimated the cultural differences there. But another way that I underestimated the cultural differences, and this is about 4.5 years in now. So I'm seasoned. Like I know what's going on here. I've experienced a lot of different things. And that is how the French can be a little bit cool and unconcerned. Now, I experienced this when I thought that I lost my purse with my wallet and all of my ID, credit card in it. And I don't know if you've ever lost your wallet, but if you have, you know it feels like a punch to the gut and all the air is sucked out of you. It's not a good feeling. And so when I went around looking for my purse, I went to the police station, I went to the city hall, I went to the gendarmerie. Each person I came into contact, I told them I lost my purse with all of my important documents in it. And not one of them said, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that." Or, "Oh, I hope you find it." Or, "Oh, I've been through that. And oh my gosh, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy." There was no feeling like of compassion or consolation. And I really could have used that. And so it felt really jarring to, one after the other to kind of like have a stone face and not get that feedback that I'm so used to getting in the United States. So that was jarring. So underestimating the cultural differences. And again, read those books, do your homework, build up your mindset and that resilience, that adaptivity, so that when you get here and you experience things like that, you can allow that to roll off your back. Now, one thing I have to say is it was jarring, but it didn't upset me. And the benefit to that was that while I was not happy that I had lost my wallet or thought I had lost my wallet, a few days later, I found it in my house. I did not spiral down, right? I did not get panicky or anxious. I knew what I needed to do, but I did not spiral down and feel panicked or anxious. And that was because, their response wasn't panic or anxiety for me. It's much like a child. If you have a child and they fall hard, if you don't say, "Oh, are you okay?" Right? And they get up and they brush themselves off and they go continue playing, they don't even know that they're supposed to react a certain way. It was kind of like that. So that was the one benefit to that. So which one of these surprises you the most so far? Let me know in the comments. So number 5 is something that I heard on a discovery call recently. And that was a person who moved to a small village here in France and had purchased a house. Come to find out that this small village was very isolating, not very understanding of different cultures, right? It didn't have a big international community. And so she realized that she purchased the house in the wrong place. Now, all her money's tied up in this house that might be hard for her to sell. And she was feeling stress and anxiety because of that. And she came to me to see if I could help her, figure some things out. And unfortunately, that's not what I do. I work with people before they make their moves abroad so that they can build up that resilience ahead of time. And real estate, all of that is not my lane. So I really couldn't help her as much as I wanted to. So what can you do? Well, if you're moving to a country and maybe it's a smaller village and you are not familiar with the place, you might want to rent for a while to see how the place feels to you. And then if it feels good to you, go ahead and purchase. If you're somebody who knows the place, has come every summer to the place, so you know the place inside and out and you know it's right for you, then go ahead and buy. But if you don't have that comfort level, you might want to rent before you buy. All right. That's number 5. Number 6 is falling into the habit of hanging out with only English speaking people or people who speak your native language. Now, you might say, "Oh, that's not a mistake. That's not a mistake." And maybe it's not for you. But if you're coming to a foreign country to really be immersed in the culture and understand and enjoy the richness of the culture, then by isolating yourself and having an island in the country that you're going for, then it is a mistake because you're going to miss out on that culture of the country you're in. And this happens because it's so easy to speak your native tongue. And if there is a community in your area, it's so easy to just do those things with those people that you know who understand your language. And you can do it day after day. And soon you're here for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and you haven't built community. You haven't really gotten into that cultural and had those cultural experiences because you don't know the language. And it happens because learning a new language is hard. It's challenging. It's frustrating. You can feel stupid. The thing is, that's temporary, right? If you put in the effort, if you are consistent, then you can get to a certain level. It doesn't have to be a high level, but if you're at a higher level, that's going to reduce stress in your day-to-day when you're going out to stores or dealing with administration. That will help you to engage with locals and have a better, more rich cultural experience. So number 6 is surrounding yourself with only people who speak your native tongue. And number 7, what do you think number 7 is? Number 7 goes back to culture again, but this time it's about how you respond to those cultural differences. If you move to a foreign country and every time you're turning around, you're saying, oh my gosh, why do they do it this way? I hate it. It's so much easier where I come from. And you're constantly complaining about how things are done in your new country, you're going to have a hard time of it. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be annoyed. You're going to be angry. And that's not what you want to experience. Nobody wants to be angry or annoyed all of the time living in a place that they said they wanted to be. So what's the solution there? Once again, it's going back to mindset. It's going back to looking at the qualities that you have that might not be conducive to thriving in a foreign country. Are you impatient? Do you lack resiliency? Are you not curious? Are you just so set in your ways that, anything different just ruffles your feather? Look at those things and see where you might need some work, and then start to build that before you make a move abroad. And that's what I do in my program, the Carefree Expat Incubator program. That's what I do with my one-on-one coaching. I help people prepare their mindsets for a move abroad. I help them to create a plan. I help them to build the confidence and courage so that when they get here, so that they can get here, and then when they do get to where they're going, they're enjoying their life. They've set themselves up for success. So those are 7 ways that people make mistakes in making a move abroad. Have you heard of others? If you have, let me know in the comments. Okay. So if you are planning a move abroad and you would like to have some support in making the move abroad, have some support in building the resiliency or the confidence and courage so that you can make it happen, I'd love to have a conversation. So check out the link in the description and schedule a discovery call with me. And on that call, we'll talk about your plans to move abroad. Where did you want to go? Why you want to go there? What things might be holding you back? What challenges you think you might face? And then you and I can discuss if our working together could help you get there sooner and with more ease. All right. I look forward to that conversation. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.